Corey, do I look yellow? Oh,
Nah, you look perfect.
okay. All right.
You look normal.
All right.
You look
Thanks.
like Marge Simpson.
Huh.
Just
Very
kidding.
funny. Without the blue hair.
Y'all hilarious. Welcome, welcome, welcome for another edition of Technically Speaking News, guys. We're giving you news.
That you
You
can
can
use.
use.
Hey,
Yes.
Bobby, Dr.
Sir.
Putin, and myself. Our brother Gmo is taking a break, you know what I'm saying, taking care of family business. So, but we gonna hold it down like the bottom of the ground. In the meantime, in between time, how's everybody weekend going? How was your weekend, Bobby?
Busy. We took the kids out to the coast for Juneteenth weekend and everything. Went fishing, went to the water park.
Mm,
Yeah.
that
Caught
was
me a
awesome.
couple fish. Got a lot of sun, a lot of water.
Is it legal just to fish
Nice.
out there? You don't have to have a permit or nothing to fish, right? You can just go out there and just throw your rod and grab some fish.
I think it depends. I
Mm,
think you have to have a fishing license, but they're really cheap. You get them at Walmart for like $20. They're really cheap.
okay, okay.
It's pretty good.
But if you are a veteran,
Hmm.
uh, here in the state of Texas, your fishing and hunting license are both free.
Nice.
Yeah, in case you didn't know that.
I
They
did
are
not. I'm not a
they are
veteran, but
free.
I guess. But what if I go with a veteran?
Oh,
You you have to show your ID because they put all that stuff in their database.
Oh, okay, yeah, because they want to make sure that God forbid you do something crazy, they have a tag on you.
They
hey,
do,
I
and
bet
they
it would.
actually a certain amount of tags too for your fish, for large gaming fish and for deer.
Okay,
I
okay,
bet it would probably increase your chances of getting a kill. Going with someone who's trained already.
of course. Well, that's definitely for hunting, I'm sure, because I don't see nobody sitting there aiming at the water with a gun and saying "pow." They not shooting for
Mm.
fish in a barrel, right?
Some
Just
Got to
people
go
are
to
crazy.
Mississippi for that, man.
I was about to say
Checking
those
in those
people are
grenades.
crazy, man.
no lie, that's where I went fishing at. The first time ever was in Mississippi. My auntie took me, and it's a funny story, but we don't want to get into it. The thing about it is, I would want to go fishing as an adult now, just for the experience. You feel me?
Yeah, fishing is fun. I like fishing.
Me too. My husband doesn't. So I told him, okay, well, I'm gonna go to the pier. I'm gonna go throw throw a couple of lines. You hang out here with the beach with the kids. I'll be back. I come
Hey,
back and I
Mhm.
got squid because I caught a couple catfish. I got squid on my hands. He's like,
wow,
man, it stings. I was like, oh no shit, I was fishing. Of course they smell.
yeah,
Oh well, nothing a quick shower can't take care of.
right on, man. You know what I'm saying? What you do, Doctor Pool, this weekend? Talk to us.
Yeah, man. I've been having some cat issues. I've been dealing with cat vets this weekend and this week, man.
Oh man, is
It's
the kid okay?
crazy. It's weird how insurance works sometimes. Like first of all, my cat he's got like a partial blockage apparently, and he's like in his urinary, right?
Okay,
Mhm.
So it was having some issues, and I took him to the ER because it was late, and they did a bunch of stuff and told me the total cost was going to cost like 4 grand. And so like apparently I have insurance for my cat, but it's not like human insurance where you can get work done and then they charge your insurance and you pay your insurance off. It's backwards. You have to pay for whatever it is that they're doing for your animal, and
mm-hmm.
then your insurance reimburses you what you pay. So I would have had to have 4 grand off the top, to get the work that the ER place said I needed to get done.
Mm-hmm.
So that was on Thursday. So I've been just trying to monitor him. I set him up with appointment somewhere else, get a second opinion.
Yeah.
And sure enough, today, I took him to the vet in San Pedro. Oh man, I wish I could. Oh man, I want to give a plug to them. It's
Go for it.
can't remember the name, but anyways, yeah, they ended up doing an X-ray on him and found the blockage, and the X-ray only cost like $150. And then
Okay.
they were talking about how not to avoid surgery. It's mostly dietary. You got to fix it and change the diet. So I
Yeah.
ended up spending more money on food products than, than I actually did the work that they did. But compared to $4,000, which is what they were going to try and charge me at the ER for
Mhm.
3 days in the hospital, catheters and stuff like that. Just
Well, the
uh,
question
Is a pet worth it at that point? You know, like
People
Well,
they
is your
charge that because people will pay
cat feeling better now?
yeah, he's. I mean, yeah, he's active. He's not hurting. He's not in pain. Like right now, he's just kind of like running around doing normal stuff, but he can't pee fully, so he's going back and forth to the bathroom a lot.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's kind
Wow.
of
That's
yeah,
different from adults. You know, if adults can't urinate, you know what I'm saying? Definitely if it's a blockage or something like that, like a urinary tract infection, right?
yeah. That's the medicine they gave him. It's like a urinary tract food based supplement from Purina, some shit
Nice.
like that.
Yeah. Cause I know I had one when I was like, I think probably about third. How old? I'm 43, right? I think
Hmm.
it was around like 38, 39. It was definitely like at the top or pre-pandemic. Man, it was so hard to pee, and all I had, everybody was saying like, you know what I'm saying. I was looking up remedies. One thing that worked was cranberry juice.
Yeah, I went. Yep.
Cranberry juice, and that right there had your boy go. And I was like, oh, thank God. But that is the worst. And I found out how we get it. It's from consuming a lot of sugary products.
Yeah,
So I was like,
crystals. Yeah, you said they're like crystals or
Wait,
stones.
how you get a blockage?
a UTI, urinary tract infection.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe we get UTIs differently because for females, if there's bacteria that enters the urinary tract
Tract.
causing an infection, which is extremely painful.
Yeah,
Well,
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure.
yeah, I
Yeah,
just
no, it's bacteria that enters the urinary tract.
oh well,
I do
Um,
know that the blockage can be cleared,
yeah.
apparently, you know, so and that's nothing that the ER didn't mention anything about like just changing his food. And that's really all it is,
that's
just
fine.
changing his diet.
Well, I'm glad you
That's how I
did.
spent my weekend. It's good now though. I'm more positive today than I was these last few days.
Good.
Can't
Yeah.
go wrong with that, man. That's good, man. I was what else happened on this weekend for you, bro? Did you celebrate Juneteenth?
No, man. I was just depressed, bro. I was super depressed, thinking I was going to lose my cat because I
Oh,
was going to go to this clinic today, and they were going to be like, "Oh, well, it's like 2 grand, 3 grand for some surgeries and stuff," and I can't pay that for a cat, right? I can't even. I'd have a hard time paying that for myself right now, let
Yeah.
alone for an animal.
Mhm.
right.
And I love my cat,
Dang.
but in the end, it ended up not being as bad as what I was thinking.
I did the
So,
same thing for Dusty when he got attacked by the dogs next door. Um, it sounds bad, but we ended up bandaging him up really really good with what I knew and put a bunch of ointment all over him and stuff. And we waited for the vet to open because I called the emergency vet and the lady was like, you can bring him in.
yeah,
Oh, he got attacked. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear about that. Like no genuineness at
Yeah.
all. And she was like, "There's gonna be a really long wait. I'll just let you know. You'll probably be here all night." "Okay. So, yeah, come on in and we'll see you." I was like, "Oh, Lord." So, I
yeah,
ended up bandaging him up myself, and there's no telling how much that vet bill would have been. I think just an initial fee for him to get seen was like 175, and I was like, "And that doesn't mean any diagnosis." And so, we ended up waiting for our veterinarian to come open. We take the I almost said the kids. We take the dogs to Sayers Animal Hospital out here in Atkins, and fantastic people, and they give a military discount too, believe it or not. Dr. Whippo is awesome, and we ended up paying only I think $215 for um all of his wellness check, all of the stuff that they gave us, plus all of his medication. You're not going to find that anywhere else. Do
No.
not go to emergency vet unless your dog is on its last leg.
yeah.
If you can
And
do any self-care to that animal, do it first and wait for a veterinary office to open.
And I just want to give a quick plug too to the place that helped me out. If anybody is in the South Bay area, head to San Pedro. The place is called At Your Service Veterinarian Hospital. Like super fast, super friendly. Like I was in and out of there in 15 minutes, and
What?
That's
and and they saved me thousands of dollars.
Mhm.
So
right.
give
You
them a
know
call.
that I think that could probably be something we can be able to talk more about because a lot of people have pets a lot more than usual because now pets are also they're comforting partners, right?
Yeah,
And
Mhm.
you still have to take
service animals.
service animals. You still have to take care of them. maybe that's something we can, because I'm the only one who doesn't have a pet. I know Gmo has 2 dogs. Bobby, you have pets, and Dr. Pooh,
Bobby
you,
has a lot of pets.
yeah, yeah, you on a farm, so I totally get it. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
I have pets inside the house that I don't talk about. I love reptiles. My husband won't let me have a snake, but I have a 3-year-old bearded dragon
Oh
as
wow,
as a
see,
dragon.
see,
I'm
and
trying to get my girlfriend's kids to get some of those. I got a big tank in the
I love
garage.
I love reptiles. I always have. I had a 5-foot iguana when I was a kid. We had him for about 12 years. So if you take very good care of reptiles, they actually live quite a long time in captivity.
yeah, 5 foot. That's taller
Yeah,
than
he
myself.
was he was a big boy.
Was he friendly? Never
He
bit
was.
you? That tail, man. I've seen him
Mhm.
whip that tail. It's like a
Yeah.
belt
We
almost.
named we named him Blade. And then my bearded dragon, his name is Drago.
Nice.
Drogo.
Game of
Dra-
Thrones.
Mhm.
Drago.
Drago.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. My Juneteenth celebration was pretty cool.
Yeah,
So
what'd you do, man? Let's hear a story.
so I was in, I'm not sure if Bobby is familiar with this area, but you're familiar with this area. I was in Watts. I got invited to the Juneteenth celebration by Discovered Champions. It's a
Mhm.
young lady out there who is a nonprofit. She wanted who has a nonprofit organization out there. She invited me to come and like speak, but she really wanted me to talk more about podcasts. And you know me, I was like, let's go ahead and set one up. She was like, for real? I was like, yeah. So we had a podcast panel that day, and I filmed it. I just finished editing it, so it'll be up later on today. But yeah, it was good, and a lot of people give Watts a bad rap because of the fact that what they've heard in the past and what you hear people talk about, but they never talk about how a community comes together, and
Yeah.
that's right there, especially in the imperial courts. They come together like I see people like, hey, did you get you some barbecue? If not, then I'm about to throw some more ribs on here, and you guys can come out and get you some ribs. They're going door to door, just and they have their own community inside of that area where it's nothing but love. It's like if you can't say you don't have friends growing up because over there they're more than just friendly. You know what I'm saying? It's just they get a bad rap based off of what the media may say or the history of the area. But
Yeah,
you know,
because of the riots, probably. The
yeah,
riots and then gang banging. Gang
right.
banging doesn't help, man. They still banging Watts, man.
Yeah,
But
but they
ever
don't
since the riots, I think.
they don't bang as far as like people inside. They're very protective in their community, right?
Yeah,
So if you coming over there starting stuff, of course they're gonna protect their community
yeah,
because
right.
they
Like,
know
don't be
that
stupid.
somebody's sister and mother is right there next door that you can be potentially if you letting off something, a stray bullet can hit somebody. You know what I'm saying? They're very protective, but they're also beautiful, they're social, and they're humans, right? Great. I had a great Juneteenth being over there. I took my son with me because I had him just make sure that the cameras was rolling at all times so we could be able to get some good footage. And then teaching him how to, make, what I'm saying, make a living doing with skills and tools you already have. It was a beautiful experience. It was a
But yeah, I
beautiful.
love
Very
rolling through
good.
Watts, man. The Watts Towers, man. That's a huge place, man. It's a landmark and will always be a landmark. They're
Yeah,
doing development, man. I'm impressed with how much, but isn't that one of those catch-22s where it's like you want to develop the neighborhood, but sometimes people in the neighborhood are like they don't want the development because they'll take away from the community. Like,
I thought that a while back, but then when I started seeing what they're doing, because I've been a part of a cohort for 4 years called Think Watts by
mhm.
Stick. He's actually a Gardena alumni. And he has been very instrumental in Watts building up the community, getting water machines where instead of just having like having to buy water or order water, there's water machines you can get fresh, clean, filtered water. He helped bring the Nike store out to like build a Nike facility, build new high rises, giving back to the community. He's doing a lot, and I think the thing about it is the work he's doing is really increasing the positive narrative in Watts. along with Top Dog Entertainment, TDE, Top Dog himself. And then yeah, they built a entertainment facility recently and had the red ribbon the red, what is it called, a red ribbon ceremony when they cut the red
Yeah, the
ribbon.
ribbon cutting.
A ribbon cutting
Yeah,
ceremony?
they
Yeah.
had that on the 21st, which was this Saturday. It was pretty nice over there. I didn't go to that one because I had prior plans with my family, but it's a nice area, nice people. You know what I'm saying? So big ups to Watts over there, man. And other than that, everything was cool. Everything was cool.
Was the Juneteenth celebration, like, mixed?
It was well, it was, yes, because we had community partners over there that they're familiar with. We had a Spanish vendor, we had a Caucasian vendors, we had like 4 or 5 black vendors from giving out free food, doing hair for free. It
Hey
was
man, I could have got this braided for free. Nah, you
actually
lied. You
because they
lied.
were doing girl, and their braids was looking nice. I was like, y'all doing this for free? That's what I'm talking about.
That's
That
awesome.
community, yeah. So it was pretty cool, man. Pretty cool, pretty cool. But hey,
Topics, man. What do we got for some
that's
topics?
on it today, man. Y'all know what's been popping, and I ain't just talking about, what I'm saying, news. I'm talking about things been dropping like bombs, like for real, for real. Were we? Has it like? Okay, so were we? Did I mean? It's been a week since we spoke, and in that week, has there been did the first bomb happen before or after our podcast?
After.
Yeah, like the very next day, the first one happened.
Okay, so for y'all to give context to what we're talking about, the
Yeah.
first bombing from when the United States went and bombed Iran, 3 or 4 nuclear
I was
facilities.
like,
Three.
yeah, let's make sure we're making it
Yeah,
very clear that they were bombing nuclear facilities. They were not targeting civilians. It was
right.
nuclear
Nah,
facilities that were underground where there was enriched uranium, more than a typical amount to create nuclear weapons. They had a
right,
overabundance of nuclear enriched uranium that they were using.
right, and you know what I'm saying. But then what was it? Yesterday? No, today there was an attack by Iran, but there was no U.S. casualties from what I read. And
They,
now,
they attacked our
They
base, though. They
thir-
successfully attacked our. Well,
yeah,
I saw a
they
video where they
said,
were shooting off the anti-rocket rockets, and that was pretty
yep,
interesting.
they intercepted
So
all 14 missiles. 13 of them specifically were intercepted. One of them was already redirected out into free space where it was already going someplace that was nowhere near a military base. So they just let
you
that one
forgot one,
fly.
man. I think Iraq. I don't know if it's true or not, but I saw 2 videos that Iran attacked Israel with like a supersonic bomb or something like that. Is that true?
oh,
Did that really happen?
They did that on Saturday or Sunday, one of those
Uh,
days.
yeah, right. It was in between. I think the 2 bombings between. Yeah, right.
Mhm.
Uh,
well,
it's going
I can
down,
tell you
y'all.
this.
It's going down.
No, it's not. It's not because
Not
an
yet.
hour ahead of time it was a ceasefire. Like there was a ceasefire called literally an hour ago.
Mhm.
So I guess you know what I'm saying. The bombed. So this is done. And
I hope so.
I think Bobby said it earlier. I'm not sure if we was live or not. It was very strategic. I'm assuming, correct? That's what you
Yeah,
meant by
I said it was very strategic. It was very quick. Um, I believe that Donald Trump is surrounded by people who know what they're talking about, who know what they're doing, and they were very specific to mention they were only hitting nuclear targets. They were not dropping bombs in the middle of cities, killing civilians. It was merely to get rid of the idea, the potential of them having a nuclear weapon because they chant death to America, death to Israel, and they want to wipe Israel completely off the map. Um, Iran funds a majority of terrorist groups that are found in different parts of Africa, different parts of Saudi Arabia, the Middle East, Yemen, and Oman. And to have nuclear weapons in the hands of people who seek to destroy any type of westernized culture outside of their religious views, I think that's a threat.
Of
I think
course.
it's a threat,
Yeah.
and Donald Trump told them, "Come to the table, come and negotiate. Let's talk. Let's see what's gonna happen." He is a strength through or peace through strength type of president. He doesn't wanna make those, really, I don't wanna say bad looking decisions, but he's strategic in what it is that he's doing. He's like, "We destroyed your sites. Come to the table because it's just going to get worse, and we don't wanna see that happen to the Iranian people." So,
Okay. Okay. Well, look, you know what I'm saying? To me, I think honestly, I feel like you know what I'm saying? There's a lot going on, right? There's a lot
mhm,
going on in America, and there's a lot going on outside of America. I just feel like we just I'm a spiritual person. I just say pray because real talk, like we can trust certain media outlets, and then certain media outlets you can't. And then I'm like, you know what? If I let this consume me, I won't be able to enjoy it and have a good day, right?
mhm.
Because there's a lot of things going on, but
It's
you
good
want
that you said that. Because I mentioned earlier before we started the podcast was that there's certain amounts of intel that our leadership receives that the typical United States citizen is not privy to, and I want you to know that that's okay. It's
to.
okay to not be privy to that intel, and the reason for that is the last thing we want to do is invoke fear and panic within people because when people receive that type of intel, when they get wind of what type of evil is truly out in the world, it's going to cause fear and panic in
Yeah,
people and
pandemonium.
cause them to be able to do things that are just not logical, um, for them and their families, and so it's okay. It's okay that you don't know every single step that's happening, but, just like you said, Corey, I would encourage you if you are a believer, even if you're not, there's a God who loves you, who's listening to you, and I would encourage you, very quickly to pray because Jesus is coming back.
You can tell based off of what's been going
What's
on.
going on? For real.
But on a side note, you know what I'm saying? Because I kind of skipped topics, but I wanted to piggyback on it. 16 billion
Mm,
passwords were leaked on the dark web recently.
all that.
So that is a lot because we only got 8 billion people in this world. So you know what I'm saying? It seems like and not all of them are old enough to know what a password is.
Mhm.
This is getting scary because of the fact that now you can get hacked and not sure if you're putting in the right password or if your password is being copied when you do put in the right password. It's a lot of scary things going on out there, but it's the credentials from Google, Facebook. This is what I'm getting from the AP News that
Mhm.
all it's billions of logins. And what's crazy to me is I think I've been compromised because
Oh shit.
yeah, I was on LinkedIn and one of the clients who I well not clients, I would say potential client, you know, say connections. That's what we call them on LinkedIn. Hit
Mhm.
me up and say, "Hey, I thought of you about this opportunity." And so I clicked on the link, but I couldn't log in because I have all these password securities on my Gmail. I was like, nope, can't log in. Nope, not this one, not that one. I'm like, okay, I just sent her a message letting her know, hey, thanks for the opportunity. I'll try it later, but right now it's not letting me get in. She sends
Right.
me a message, like I said, day or two later saying, I'm so sorry, I've been hacked. I was like, whoa.
Mhm.
So it's really crazy when they start hacking LinkedIn. You know what I'm saying? LinkedIn is like the not fun social media. It's the primarily business. But when you get LinkedIn credentials hacked, you can tell it's very, very deep. What y'all
And
feel about that
fraudulent,
though?
man. That's the best way to get that money. Find those ignorant people who don't know what they're doing and they're looking to invest in something, and then
I
catch
think,
that line, reel
for
them in.
different technology preferences, I would encourage you that if you don't have a two-factor authentication set up, we call it a 2FA, you should have a two-factor authentication set up. So if you're trying to log into like your Google or your Yahoo or even your Apple account, it should send you a notification saying, "Hey, we want to send you a message to your phone. Make sure that you put in this verification code." And this
Oh
ensures
yeah,
that
yeah.
it's actually going to the correct person. And so if you have 2FA set up on any of your accounts, or even if you don't, I would encourage you to set that up and stuff. To hopefully that'll help reduce some of the amounts of people's accounts being hacked.
Does that work with
Yeah.
fingerprint scan? The digital scan for
So
password?
the fingerprint scan is a 2FA.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because even though like
Yeah.
the fingerprint, if they were to get a hold of my passcode, they could still like bypass my fingerprint, couldn't they?
No, not if you have 2FA set up.
Okay.
Not if you have it set up. The whole idea of that is to ensure additional safety measures are taking place whenever you're logging into that account. And now, not every single provider that you have to create a login for offers that, but those who do would encourage you to definitely set that up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh, and I think because I'm gonna be honest with you, I think the inconvenience of a 2FA is what these people are preying on because the fact that they're looking at it like, look, I had to remember this password. I had to write it down or I had to log it. I'm just gonna save it on my device. You know how it says, do you want the password to
Remember
be remembered?
password?
Yeah.
Hmm.
A lot of people go ahead and do that because of the fact that it's convenient. But I
Yeah.
think that's what the hackers are preying on. They're preying like,
Oh,
okay, so yeah, they turned off their their TFA, or they didn't need 2FA, right?
Yes, 2FA.
2FA. They turned off their 2FA, or they didn't even put one on to begin with because they wanted to hurry up and just get into their devices or something.
or
And
don't
boom.
even know about that feature.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe, yeah, that's something we could probably bring some light to. You feel what I'm saying?
I have a lot of accounts that I'd like to use Face ID for because aside from the password, you don't look
Yeah.
like me, you can't get into the can't get into the account. And they
No,
do a
I have the Face
facial
ID on all
scan.
my banking apps
Yeah.
because it's very serious. Every banking app, you can't get in it without my face.
Mhm.
My wife tried one time. She was like, "What's in the account?" I was like, "Just go in it." She was like, "What's your login?" I was like, "Let me see the phone." She's like, "No, I'll do it." And then I kept playing when I was closing my eyes. I was like, "Close my eyes, close my eyes, close my eyes," and she was like, "Stop." Eventually, I got it. I let her get in, but yeah, man, it's
That's the
because of the
ultimate
fact.
trust test right there, right? Are you gonna give up the
Yeah.
password?
Oh, man, my wife have all my passwords because I seldom forget. But if I do, I'm like, babe, what's the password? What's the password? But no,
Yeah.
I even created a password log. You know what I'm saying? Because of the fact that it's like this is ridiculous, man. 16 billion,
Mhm.
16 billion passwords on the dark web. And if it wasn't for certain news outlets, we would never notice. We would never know.
A
Yeah.
couple of years ago, I sent out my husband a Word document and it said just in case. And he's like, "What is this?" I was like, "Just in case." Like, open it. And it was a log of how to pay the house, how to pay the water,
Yeah.
how to pay electricity and stuff. Because I told him if something happens to me, you need to know how to pay everything. He's like, "Is there something you're not telling me? Are you getting deployed?" I was like, "No, not that I know of, but you need to know how to pay these things. These are the account numbers. These is where everything is located at. This is how you get a hold of our life insurance." And he's like, "Yeah, you're
Yeah.
scaring me." But, whenever what I mean, when you're in a relationship, you should hopefully you trust your partner well enough to be able to share those types of things because it's important because God forbid something do happen, they need to know how to be able to take care of things as they move on through life without you there.
Yeah. You
Fellas, make
what's
sure
that
that it's your
phrase?
wife before you start sharing those passwords. All right. Don't give up the
Mhm.
passwords unless she's already got your last name.
That's true. That's true.
No, it's really true. I mean, because of the fact that people break up, especially recently in the last couple of years, people break up quicker than a hiccup, and especially if they've been together for a long time. I don't know. Have you guys ever heard of the silver divorce rate? Y'all
No.
familiar with that? So the
Mm-mm.
silver divorce rate is when people have been together, been married for over 15, over 20, over 30 years, and now gets a divorce. Because when they do that, they feel like, you know what, I'm gonna go. I still have a little bit left of life to live, and I want to live it the way I want to live it.
Mm.
And it's so sad, but that divorce rate is getting higher. But that's crazy. But it's real. You know what I'm saying? People
Mhm.
are not looking to settle down and grow old with people anymore. They want to do their own thing. And real talk is everything out there is a distraction. Once you turn 40 and 50, bruh, ain't nothing out there for us unless you trying to get another job. There ain't nothing out there for us.
My
You know what I'm
pastor would always
saying?
say that the grass isn't greener on the other side, it's just green where you water it.
Where you
I
water
don't
it.
know if you get
Exactly.
some nice young fresh grass as opposed to having some old lawn
No,
for like
sir.
40, 50
No, sir. From
years.
afar, that grass looks green. You get over there, it's
Listen,
just
listen.
artificial turf. That's
Don't judge me.
artificial
I'm
turf,
not saying that
alright?
that's how I look at life. I'm just saying, a lot of people who are older end up getting divorced, but they do that looking to trade up and get something that's younger. Like for men, it's normally has to do, I think, with like trying to keep the family going. You have the option of still having kids. For women, I think it's, getting that freedom now that the kids are out of the house. And it's because I don't see things that are helping support the nuclear family,
Mm,
and so as a society, we're not trying to promote staying together. We're promoting independence and creativity
yeah,
over relationships. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not married yet. Maybe
I
one
heard
day,
I heard
hopefully.
earlier on the news station that I listened to on the way home that, women divorce men at a higher rate.
Yeah, men don't leave relationships. Like it's 80% breakups are normally women.
Why do you
They
think that is?
perform. Well,
Tolerance.
I don't know. I watch YouTube stuff to try and learn though, and there are people out there who explain that stuff.
I
I'm
can
not
tell
going to
you
plug their
a few
show, but
I can
And
tell
I
you a few
divorced
reasons and
my first husband, and I didn't feel the least bit sad about it.
yeah,
Maybe I should have, but there was nothing there. All of the hurt
right.
I had just made me so numb. I was like, "Where are the papers? Let me sign them
yeah.
with the quickness,
That's
with
what
the
happened with my
quickness."
girlfriend. I don't want to speak too much on her behalf, but like, yeah, she's done with her ex-husband. Like, he's still involved with the kids and everything, so they have a relationship that way. But like, she's moved on.
Yeah.
Whether I was in the picture or not, like, she's moved on as a woman.
What do you think, Corey? Why do you think women are divorcing at a higher rate than men?
I think
Cheating.
but I think the problem is no, it's not
Nah,
cheating.
there's I was about to say, no,
It's not
there's way more to it than that. It's much deeper than that.
men tend to not talk about how they truly feel. And when you have a woman that that's telling you how they feel and you don't do the same thing, then there's an unbalanced area right there. And until that man understands what his woman wants, which she wants communication, she wants to be understood, she wants to know him, and she wants him to know her. You remember, you get older in relationships. And as you get older, that person who you married 5, 10, 15 years ago is a more mature person. And you should be as well. And there should be other things that you guys are able to communicate about. And when you don't have things that you can communicate about, you need to find the surface why. Is there trust issue? Is there, you know what I'm saying? If there's something that hasn't been fixed that you guys never addressed or didn't address. And sometimes it's a pride thing. Men are very prideful, especially in relationships. And we wouldn't say or agree all the time, but it's the truth. And with that pride, you know what I'm saying, comes a barrier or comes a brick wall that we would I'm not gonna let I'm you know what I'm saying, you ain't gonna talk to me like this. And it could be different ways of being viewed because of upbringing. A
Yeah,
woman telling you how she feels to one man could be nagging, but to another man could be like, oh, she's expressing what she's saying. But most men can't comprehend that because she's talking to them passionately because that conversation is driven by emotion.
yeah.
We're logical.
I I bottle a lot of things up, so when it did come to a head, I was like, "Dude, I am sick." I would tell him, "I am sick and tired of this. I hate feeling like this." And he's like, "Oh, all you ever do is nag me." I'm like, "You don't listen to a damn word that I say, and then to you it sounds like it's nagging, but I'm telling you, we need to go to counseling. We need to go to counseling." And you know what? You said it perfect, Corey. It was pride. He was like, "No, because the pastors don't need to know what? That you're a crappy husband. That's what it is,
Mm.
right?" And then when he got served those divorce papers, what's the first thing he told me? "No, we're not getting divorced. We're gonna go to counseling." I said, "Nah, dog, that ship sailed." No, I'm so
That
serious.
ship has
Hands to the
sailed.
Bible. Sir, that ship has sailed. I was already so completely numb and hurt that I was like, "No,
Mhm.
no, that's not gonna
Yeah.
happen. That time is gone. All of that time where we could have fixed
And
it, where you knew I wanted to fix it, is gone now. Goodbye. No
And that's the
security,
bad part about
nothing."
it. Yeah, I think the what it is the fact that we shouldn't look at counseling or therapy as a last resort. We should look at it as like, okay, there's a trauma, there's an issue in our marriage. Let's not let this thing fester so it can mess up our future. Let's knock it out right now. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? But um, hey, I just pray that my prayer is that people start getting married, understanding each other, and a lot of people say, "Well, why should I get married if we're together?" I'm like, this person who you shared a bed, maybe, but a life interest with. There's gonna come a time you're gonna want somebody who knows you more better than your family to make a decision for you where you can't make for yourself.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, our family is gonna, from the outside looking in, gonna make a biased decision. And if you're not able to, if you don't have the legal right to make the decision, then those sometimes those final wishes don't get granted. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? It's a lot deeper than just, oh, I love her and she loves me. No, it's like this person know if I'm allergic to this type of this, so don't try to feed me this if I can't feed myself. You know what I mean?
When I started dating my husband, and this is great news too. Great, it is good news, but I'm using a personal story to shed some light on this. When my husband and I first started dating, he and I would talk about what are the issues in my previous marriage, what led to the divorce, and he told me, "If you ever catch me doing or saying anything that led to that, let me know so I can fix it." And I told him, "One of the things that we can do when we come into a relationship, learn each other's love languages. It
oh yeah,
you
I heard
have
of
to
that.
you have to die to I. It is not me, it is gonna be we.
We
Everything is gonna be spoken in a tense where it's gonna be multiple. There's more than one in this relationship. My husband's love language is a little bit different than mine, but because I love him, I'm going to speak his love language because I wanna make sure he understands this is how he wants to be loved. I am a acts of kindness type of person. When you do kind things for me, that makes me feel loved. I mean, that touches my heart. Him is physical touch. If I come behind him, he loves when I hold his hand. When he's driving, he will often grab my arm because I know I'm because he's wanting to make sure that I understand that he's still right there. He does a lot. He just loves his back being scratched, like little things. It doesn't always have to be anything sexual, but just him being loved on is me telling him that I love him and he knows that.
Oh,
Speak your partner's love language, do it with passion and be genuine because there is such a difference in your love when it's done genuinely and when it's done through obligation. I am
I'm
not
needy.
yeah,
obligated to love you. I genuinely am passionate about my life with you, and this is how I'm gonna show you. Be genuine about it.
I'm a
yeah.
We know
needy
the difference.
person. I
Huh?
need to be needed.
I need
I
to be
need
needed.
someone to need me as much as I need them. You know, like I'm so
Yeah.
needy.
And when you get older, remember sometimes love language changes. There's one of five primary ones. So
Mhm,
sometimes it may switch. It may change from physical touch to words of affirmation. You know what I'm
mhm,
saying? Gifts. You know what I'm saying? Those things rotate, but I believe all of us like every five of them. The only thing is just know when to apply it to. That's why you got to know your mate constantly. You know, there's a joke me and my wife play all the time. Whenever she be like, you know me. I'm like, yeah, I know you. Like in the Bible, know you.
Oh man,
But we
this will be
joke.
a great transition into the DoorDash.
You know what I'm saying? Let's go to the DoorDash.
Yeah, I'm telling you, bro. Think about it though, like for real. Like our schedule's all over the place now, man. Like
Yeah.
you're at home, you're with your wife or you're with your husband, and you're like, oh, I'm hungry, and you normally pick up the phone and you call like Domino's, and Domino's comes with a pizza. But
Mhm.
now you could just open up your app and open up DoorDash or Grubhub or any of these apps, and you can get anything you want delivered to you in 30 minutes to an hour or so. And I think that is amazing technology that we can have this service. But I wonder sometimes if it's making me lazier and less of a person who goes outdoors, and is keeping me more of a person who is now indoors for everything, you know? So what about you guys? You guys do online door dashes? What do you guys use? Grubhubs or anything like that?
No, there's a person that lives with us. Her name is Bobby. She cooks
Oh, all right. Every night, huh? Never
almost
get a
every
break.
night. I cook.
Right.
No, but I enjoy cooking for my family because I think it serves as a good memory. So when the kids grow up, they're gonna be like, "Man, you remember when mom used to make this?" Or they're
Hmm.
gonna come to me at some point and want my recipes for things that I do. Uh, I'm known for making some bomb mac and cheese. Just so you know, I got requested to do it for tomorrow for a get together we're having for the church, and I make some bomb mac and cheese. I always get requested for that,
Nice.
so, but no, and I do everything with love, and, I make everything homemade. So today I made a homemade Alfredo sauce with rotini pasta, chicken and bacon, and roasted broccoli.
Oh,
And
wow.
so,
Sounds amazing.
you can pull a
Yeah.
quick dinner together in about 35 minutes or so for that dinner, but,
Shit, that's
everybody
a
loves
show in itself right there, right?
Right.
it.
What kind of
Dinner in
meat?
Yeah,
35. What about
I
you,
like
Corey?
I like dark meat. I like using chicken thighs.
Nice.
Yeah.
Chicken thighs is really juicy and have a lot of a lot more protein than the white meat.
Yeah, because it's super lean, but I do prefer, chicken thighs.
Donald, hey, I'm not gonna lie to you.
Tell me,
I will.
Corey.
Let me tell you. I'm gonna
What
be
is you using? What's the number one app, man?
honest. Instacart. Okay.
Okay.
And this is the reason why. Okay, so pandemic got me spoiled, right? You know, we out here. Like that's when I was like, um, at first before the pandemic, I used to order my groceries and go to Vines and pick them, go to Rouse and pick them up because I lived
Right.
over in Dare Center.
It's like
And
that curbside service almost, right?
right, but when pandemic hit, you know what I'm saying, I was like, what we gonna do? And so my wife was like, well, we can always order groceries because I have 3 kids, and going to the grocery store, I usually would go while my wife is at work, or she would go while I'm at work. And
Hmm.
taking kids to the grocery store is not the business.
Right.
So we will order the groceries. So then Uber Eats was up on that door, the Instacart app. I was like,
Hmm.
okay, and it said it'll be here within 30 to 45 minutes. I was like,
Right.
and guess what they had?
Anything
Chick-fil-A.
you want.
Chick-fil-A. Now,
Hmm.
my daughter, she's Chick-fil-A. She's like, I'm like, what would you like? Chick-fil-A. And I'm like, you know what? It's an easy call. It's Jesus chicken. We gonna get it. You know,
Alright, baby, those are the Lord's fries.
That's
exactly.
right.
No, for
Chicken
real.
nuggets from Jesus, man.
You know what I'm saying? So I was like, boom. And it came hot, it came fresh. I did pay a convenience because of the fact that, obviously it's being delivered, but I didn't have to go out. I didn't have to cook, which I don't mind cooking. But sometimes, especially back when it's work from home, I would hate have to come from upstairs to go downstairs to cook. And then I would hate for my wife when she come home because she was an educator, so she had to go in. She
Right.
had to go to school. Go into schools. And my kids, they were working at downstairs. They were on class downstairs. So I was like, DoorDash. Now, yeah, we're out of the pandemic, but the old habits are hard to break.
I understand, man. I could relate, bro.
Yeah,
For
man, but
real.
that's my thing, man. Uber Eats was whoo,
So Instacart is for, like, groceries?
For groceries, you can't add food. I mean, they have a food section in there too, but Instacart, it and I paid the annual subscription, so that way I get most of the delivery. I get all my deliveries for free, um,
Okay.
but long as it's over 35. But here's
Right?
the
Got to be over a certain amount.
yeah, here's the key part about it. During the pandemic, when a lot of my friends was catching COVID, I was like, look, I can't come through, but let me ship you an order of the stuff that I know that work. I send my homeboys ginger, orange juice, and drinks. You know what I'm saying? So it was able to pay off in a positive way. So one, because I
Right?
know my cousin he ended up getting COVID twice. And I was
Hmm.
like, what you need? And I send them over the package of stuff that I know that would help. And
Right.
it worked. So you know what I'm saying? And every so often, my mom be like, I want a fish dinner. All right,
Hmm.
send it over to them. So
You know,
it
for me, it's weird. I don't really do food so much anymore on like the food apps, but I do like groceries sometimes. Like, because I do everything through DoorDash, and DoorDash does grocery store service too, right?
oh
Mhm.
And
wow.
so like maybe once a week or so, I'm just too tired to cook anything, and I don't want to do pizza or Chinese food. So it's good to have that option to have
Mhm.
someone come and drop something off. But I think groceries is more my usage because I could get them to bring me like a couple cases of water, a couple cases of soda, and now I don't have to carry that stuff. It almost makes it worth the price of admission, especially with gas. So I have some facts, and some stuff that I researched a little bit about DoorDash primarily because DoorDash is number one. It started off with Grubhub. Grubhub was the first one to really take off, and now it's DoorDash number one. So they were founded in 2013 in Palo Alto, California. Three guys from Stanford University were the ones who founded it. So it's Stanford guys, then their idea. It's the number one food delivery service now, and you can also make up to $1,000 as a driver, just as a reference if anybody wants to be at the DoorDash delivery. Up to a thousand.
$1,000 a month?
It says, yeah, I'd imagine probably a week. Probably up to $1,000 a week if you're really hustling.
Sweet. Wow.
There are
That's a pretty good
delivery
side
fees.
hustle.
Huh?
That's a pretty good side hustle.
Yeah, exactly. Aside from the wear and tear that goes into your car,
And
Mhm.
you
like it's like Uber itself. Like they got their pluses and their minuses, but their delivery fees, and the delivery fee is never. It's normally not more than $5, but you can order a certain amount and then it gets waived, but you still got a tip. You drop like $5 for a tip, but if you don't order the minimum and you're paying like $4 or $5 now, like when I first started DoorDash, it was like a $2 delivery fee, like maybe 5 or 6 years ago. Before the pandemic, it was like $2. Now it's like $4 or $5, and it seems like it's continuing to rise, right?
So I haven't used it because anytime I have, it's been the delivery fee has been more than what the actual cost of the food is, and to me, that's not worth it.
And it's weird. It's not just with apps. That's with regular food delivery services now too. Like you take Domino's Pizza is a great example. Like I get Domino's maybe twice a month
Mhm.
for the points, because you could get the points and then they give you
Yep.
free stuff, or whatever. So
Mhm.
it seems like it's a great deal, and it is if you go and pick it up. But if you want to get it delivered to you, you're paying a delivery fee plus a service fee plus a tip nowadays, and your $20 pizza now costs you $32. So like it makes me think sometimes, like, man, I could just get in my car, spend $1 in gas, go get this stuff for like 13, $14, and then go back home. You know, what do you
yeah,
guys think about that though, man? Like, is it worth it having these apps that help us avoid going out, or like do you think
my
it's better
business
for us to be
first.
going out and interacting in life? Yeah.
Mhm.
What do you
Well,
Yeah,
guys think?
I think it
Obviously,
depends.
Bobby, you like to cook at home, but maybe like
I
the grocery aspect of like having Home Depot stuff delivered to your house or something like that, right? Save you a
we've
trip,
I mean, yeah, we've done, orders through Lowe's and stuff because we're buying large amounts of concrete or wood for projects
right?
that we do. which would make the most sense. But we also have a large flatbed trailer that we would go. But like you said, it has to be worth it. I know, since we're Lowe's Pro members, due to my business, I think anything over like $500 is like free delivery and stuff.
Oh,
So
okay.
Nice.
ensure that whatever we get, it has to be worth it, because if not, I'm not going to pay for something that's worth more than the material that I have.
Yeah, that
As
makes sense.
far as groceries go, here in Texas, we have one of the largest grocers in the United States, which is HEB. I don't know if you've ever heard of HEB. HEB
Mhm.
has free curbside service, and so since I'm making my big tray of macaroni and cheese tomorrow, I actually did a curbside order for tomorrow morning that my husband's gonna go pick up. So I already paid for my groceries. Somebody's gonna be shopping for them in the morning.
Right.
Um, and that's the best thing to do, especially if I wanna make sure that I have everything that I need. I think it's very convenient, and I think some of it definitely started with COVID, but even since COVID, it's just been more convenient. And I've found that if you really want to stick to a budget and your local grocery store does offer assistance with shopping for your food, and you're able to pick and choose what you want, I think that'll help you stay on a budget. And along with what HEB offering curbside is, I can actually shop for things that I want through an entire coupon section and just
Wow.
clip the coupons. And as I'm clipping them and adding them to my cart, and it's like, "You saved $37 today." And I didn't even have to go inside the store. I'm so serious. I do a
No,
lot
Yeah.
of
no, for
couponing.
real.
No, that's cool, man.
I do a lot of couponing and stuff, and so I'm like, I don't wanna say I get a high off of it, but I'm like, "I save money."
We all get a high off of saving money that we didn't expect. I'll be honest.
Mhm. Now, let me ask you guys one last question, and then we could wrap this one up.
Yeah.
Tips, right? What do you think is a good amount for? I think right now the standard tip rate is supposed to be like 15 to 20% of what the total bill is. I don't know if it's different in Texas, but what do you guys think is a good amount to tip? What are you guys tipping? 5%, 10%? Does it depend on the service, right? What are you guys doing?
I always tip based off of, service. Judge me if you'd like, but I've been to places where they're like, "Can I help you?" I'm
Hmm.
like, "Aren't you supposed to be serving us over here?" Like, I don't know what hostility you're dealing with that you decide to come to our table and be pissed because I asked you if I could have a refill for a tea that I already paid for. So,
Right.
like, I'm confused here. You want a tip, but yet you're being nasty towards the people that you're serving. I don't think that's beneficial for you.
Yeah,
Right.
I
So
get
I
that.
I tip based off of, uh, service. This past week, um, we had really, really good service, but I'll tell you what though, when I got my bill, I had just paid it and didn't look at it, and the lady didn't tell me anything either, even though she was a great server, because there was a party of 6 that I had dinner with,
Gratuity.
gratuity was already added on to it, which is
Yeah,
fine. I'm not mad, but I'm mad that she saw me hand her a lot more cash
yeah,
and not tell me. And so I think
The
I think that
integrity.
even though she was a good server, I still think there was some, I don't wanna say shadiness, but there was like, "Oh, hey, thank you for the tip, but the gratuity was already added." I didn't see
yeah.
that until later,
Oh,
and
that's an interesting point.
she ended
Yeah.
up getting a whole $25 tip from me,
Yeah, I
which
was a server for a
I
while, and
wasn't
that's exactly what
expecting.
exactly what happens. They get gratuity on people like 6 or 7, and I would always tell them about it. Like it's optional, but like a lot of times if you tell them, then they don't mind giving you the extra money anyway. If you're upfront.
Right.
I mean.
Here
What
it
about you,
depends
though,
on the
Corey?
restaurant.
What are you tipping?
Oh,
If you're tipping at all?
I'm tipping. I've been blessed throughout my entire life, and I haven't been a server, but I worked at a restaurant where I know that some people come in, they've had a bad day. Sometimes they've gotten bad news, or sometimes they've um been like just issues, right?
Mhm.
And I've been at restaurants where I've gotten like horrible service. I won't let their actions shortchange my generosity, because I'm a
Right.
generosity person.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is, if the service is great, it's gonna go. It's probably gonna. Me and my wife would sit down. We like, we really like this, and if the bill is like $100, we probably give them $50, right?
Right.
If the service was horrible, but you know what I'm saying. And then the person probably wasn't interacting. I look at everything, where they did they have 7 or 8 tables? Is the facility running short on people? You know what I'm saying? Or did they have a bad day? Or because we really frequent some of the same places we go to all the time, so
Mhm.
we see the people. And
Yeah.
and then if it's a new person, we're like, oh, maybe it's new. So we do like it's usually 15, 17, or 20 percent. We'll do 20%.
Okay.
Now, if now, yeah, we'll do 20. I think there was only one time I did 17%, and that's because they completely got the order wrong and then
Mhm.
charged us for more than what it was.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, we can't do that.
For
Mhm.
But
me, I like to switch it up. Like, I don't think I would ever not pay anything on a tip, but if I were at like a restaurant or like someone was delivering me something and they were like took like 3 hours or something, maybe it took a really long time or something like that, like I would give a less amount. But for me with tips, like I try and break that stereotype about black folks who don't tip, right? Because there's a stereotype about the black community that we don't tip well. So
right,
like I try and tip well, like
There
almost
is.
sometimes above and beyond, because I want to
Mm.
try and break that stereotype to where if someone I come into a restaurant like, oh, this guy's not going to give me anything, like I don't want them to think that about me. You know what I'm saying?
exactly, because
And
you
so
don't
like,
want them to
yeah,
be.
if they're delivering shit, like I'm gonna for sure give them like 15 at least. If it's just like a small little thing, it's like, all right, the bill is like $15 and the tip rate is like $2, $3, $4, or $5, right? Like I'm pick three, right? But like if it were like $20 or like $50 and it's asking me to tip like $10, $15, $18, or $25, I might tip like $18, because of the cost, or
Mhm.
whatever. But I don't. I wouldn't have the balls to not tip anything, just because you don't know what you might be inciting. I've seen some videos of people who have not gotten tipped and got like a DoorDash delivery or something, and like they just flipped out and like don't give them their stuff and they put it back in their car, and it's just drama, unnecessary drama. And they know where you live at now, so it's like bringing drama to your house. So,
Well, so in a case like that, what if the person that they're door dashing to doesn't wanna leave a tip on their card because they have plenty of cash, and they want
yeah,
them to
that's what
bless
happens
that door
sometimes,
dasher?
right?
Because there's a lot of times where I don't tip on my card because I prefer to use cash,
Right.
and
Right.
so, because I would rather do that if it looks like I'm not giving you a tip, or not even just me, just anybody. If you're delivering food, I've seen some where they have door dashers go and just, like, throw their food at the front, make a mess all over the place, and I'm like, "You chose to do that job. What are you getting pissed off at these people for? You
Yeah.
chose that.
I
That's
seen a
your side
video like
hustle,
that.
and here you are." I know I have we probably saw the same video, and I just thought it was terrible, and they're just over there talking crap to to the homeowner where they're door dashing to, and I'm just like, "That is just terrible. You're setting a
But
terrible expectation."
you want to hear something crazy? The video I saw, like
Mhm.
that person was like mad, and then the lady came to the door. She was like, "Okay," she's like, "Thank you," and because she was looking out the window, and she told the lady, "Oh, come back, come back." Like, why? Why you want me to come back? I was like, "Oh, well, because I wanted to tip you." And then she gave her the tip cash, and the lady was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me." She was like, "Why? You just delivered my phone." She was like, "Because I was so mad. I didn't take it with care." And then the lady was like, she's like, "Here, you have a better day." And then walked back in, took the food, and just back in. And I'm like, yeah, you never know what people going through, and then you never know what type of people you serving. Now, what I do is if I don't want to leave a tip on a car, which is very, very rare, I'll put in the notes, I'm like, tip will be given on hand. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that way they
Yeah, sometimes they
trash
give that
my
option. Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah.
I just put
That's
cash.
I think that's the millennial moment, man. Is don't fight with your DoorDash delivery guy, right? And make sure that you tip in based on the service that you're receiving, but don't fight your DoorDasher.
I
Okay,
don't know,
folks.
man.
Don't
They
fight
bring the heat to my front door for no apparent reason. I don't know, man.
them.
All right.
I'm
Ugh.
scared of Bobby probably, if I was delivering to Bobby, I'd probably deliver like 5 minutes early. Like
So
your
she's a
dasher is a lot.
parent, you know.
It's because
And
I'm
I'm
She,
like,
tall. People are immediately intimidated
Mhm.
by me because I'm tall. Forget
Yep.
for a second how nice I am because I know I'm nice. But did you see a picture of me and Geronimo sitting next to each other? He's like over
yeah,
here.
I was like, I'll be tall. I'll be because I think me and Geronimo are the same height. If not, he's probably 1 inch taller than me.
How tall are
I
you?
think Geronimo, he's 5'8",
I'm 5'10".
and I'm 5. Yeah, and I'm 5'7 3/4". So I'm
Three
5'8",
quarters.
baby.
That three
I'm
quarters
5'8".
counts, man.
I'm 5'8". Okay, don't tell nobody I'm 5'7 3/4".
He
I
said
tell
I'm
them
5'8" on a good day.
you know,
Mhm.
I be wearing 2 pairs of socks. I'm 5'8".
Oh my god.
Bobby, what type of parenting advice would you give Corey right now? What would be your parenting advice you'd give Corey right now?
So right now, our
Ooh.
parenting topic I was going to talk about for those of us who have teenagers. I'm pretty sure we have teenagers who are trying to get their driving permits, who are ready to kind of get out there on the road. Um, but as parents, I think we need to make sure and take the time to teach our children the rules of the road, understanding what good habits on the road look like, making sure that we are using our blinkers for sure. Blinkers are a huge deal because a lot of accidents wouldn't happen and people just use their blinkers. um, Understanding how to react to people who have road rage. Definitely not trying to be a part of that. If somebody's obviously trying to get in front of you, slow down, move over, let them pass.
I got a
And
story when you're done. I would like to share.
you. And so it's just basically teaching our children the rules of the road. My daughter's 16. A lot of the topics that I talk about are all from like real life things that I deal with on a daily basis. And so my daughter's 16 and she's like, "Mom, I want to get my driver's permit." And I'm like, "Hold on a second, slow your roll, because let's just be real for a second. Our teenagers deal with a lot of distractions in general, but to try to put them behind the wheel of a vehicle, and I told my daughter, and I made it very explicit. I didn't candy coat it. I wasn't sugarcoating nothing. I said, "Listen, when you're behind this wheel, this is a speeding bullet. When you're going 60, 70 miles an hour, you need to make a split-second decision." I said, "Because if not, you can kill yourself or other people, and it is important." She's like, "Well, why would you tell me that?" I said, "Because that's what it is.
It's what
That's
it is.
true. If your fight or flight response isn't there, you're not gonna be a good driver.
Nope.
You need to make sure that you understand when you're merging onto a highway, you have to increase speed." I don't know how y'all drive over there. I've seen some stuff in California. It doesn't look very road friendly. I don't know.
It varies.
Ain't
But
no
here
Depends
in
on what
Texas,
time of
when
day
you're
it
when you're
is.
getting on the highway and you're merging, you need to merge at 60 miles an hour. You need to get up to speed quickly with traffic and make sure that you're merging. And I told my daughter too, she's like, "Oh, there's an 18-wheeler." I'm like, "Yeah, but it's in that lane. It ain't in my lane."
right.
But because I'm coming up so close, so close to it, she's like, "Oh my god, I'm getting nervous." I'm like, "Look, you're gonna be okay." So I'm gonna make sure she goes through a driver's ed course.
Mhm.
We're gonna make sure that we log all of her driving hours and do our best because we live out in the country. We're gonna be able to kind of take it slow out on these country highways out here, so it won't be um, as as much turmoil, I guess. But trying to get them ready to be independent. We do want our children to be independent when they reach a certain age. I would not withhold, your child from driving, but making sure that as a parent you're taking that extra precaution necessary because when they get behind a wheel, you've got to make sure that they're going to be ready to respond to different situations at different times.
You're definitely right about that. Definitely.
Mm.
Um, I my kids they got another 3 years before they even got to get behind the wheel. They turn. Matter of fact, the twins turn 13 on the 27th, which is Friday.
Oh, cool!
And
Happy birthday to them.
Yeah,
thank you.
right. Happy early birthday.
My son, every time he in the car with me, he's like, "This is going to be my car in 3 years." I'm like, "You think so?" But I do. I don't want to discourage him from driving because driving is a sense of independence. I
Mhm.
remember I was trying to get my license for my home for my prom, and I didn't. So I ended up getting chauffeured to the prom, and it was cool, but it limits you, and I don't want people to think that. Driving is just about fun, but driving is also about freedom. You have the options to be able to now look for jobs in other areas that you know you can get to, as opposed to
Mhm.
the ones in your vicinity.
Yeah.
And that was really important, because if it was my first job outside of the food restaurant job I had was at the post office, and I was going to turn it down because I had to catch the bus to work and I didn't know the bus system. But I was like, you know what? As much as I'm going to get paid here, I can get me a car. And sure
Mhm.
enough, happened. I got a job. I got the job at the post office, and then I got my car the next month. And
How old
after
were you when you started driving?
legally 18,
Okay.
without,
Well, that's pretty good.
yeah,
I
but
started
I
off young.
I
Yeah.
started I started, I got my driver's license when, I was 20, only because I was in a very abusive relationship, and my boyfriend at the time did not want me driving because just like you said, it was freedom, and if
yeah,
I had a car, that mean I had freedom,
yeah,
and I wasn't allowed to have that. But I actually, believe it or not, I actually got my military driver's license. I learned how to drive a Humvee before I drove a civilian vehicle.
Man, those things are huge.
Yeah, so yeah, I actually drive a lot of very large trucks, for my job and stuff, so I always get called on to drive. There's not a lot of female NCOs that are able to do that. Um, just in my unit, I'm not speaking for the Army in general or nothing like that. It's just in my unit, there were very few female NCOs and very few of them had driver's license, but I did, so I just got called on to drive our LMTVs or drive, in the convoy, which I often did, but there's a lot of freedom in driving.
yeah,
Um, and just ensuring that, teaching them the rules of the road. You know, something just a little off topic. Yesterday morning, I'm getting ready for church, right? I'm doing my makeup. I'm in the restroom. And my little one, Mercy, the one that y'all saw earlier,
hmm,
she's standing next to me. She goes, Mommy. I'm like, what, Mercy? You see, I'm doing my makeup, ma'am. She goes, I know, but I got a question. I said, okay. She goes, when are you going to teach me how to shoot a gun?
Tomorrow.
I was like, why do you feel like you need to shoot a gun right now? And she goes, no, I'm not saying right now. Are you saying I don't have the strength to pull the trigger? I was like, well, yeah, you don't have the strength to pull the trigger. She goes, well, I'm pretty strong. I think I'm a warrior. Yes, you are.
wow,
Full blown conversation with my 6-year-old right before church. I'm like, why are you talking about this? I don't know what it is, but I think she heard us talking about something the day before, and which is, I guess, prompted the question. But she was like, "But how old can I be?" I said, "Well, we'll try it when you're 8 because I don't think it's so much the strength, it's gonna be the sound that comes out of the gun that's gonna probably scare you more than you actually pulling the trigger." She goes, "Nah, we'll just wear earplugs."
Smart.
So I was
For
like,
me,
"Yeah."
I started off young too, like with both. My mom took me to the gun range when I was like 15, 16 years old, taught me the basics on shooting a gun. For
mhm,
driving, I remember my granddaddy used to let me drive when I was like 8 or 9 and 10 on his lap because he lived out in the desert. So we were on the dirt roads driving to his house. And so he'd be holding the gas and I'd be steering and drove us into the sand ditch a couple times, you know. Uh, got my first car when I was like 17, bought that shit used. Got my first ticket when I was 18, going through the railroad crossings on Normandy Boulevard.
mhm,
And it was weird because like as growing up, I spent most of my life like riding my bike or catching buses. You know, there have been intermittent parts in my life where I've had a vehicle for maybe a year or two, but I didn't
yeah,
like actually have a vehicle and buy my own vehicle. So I was like in my like later 20s, right? But driving, always driving, I always had road rage, you know. And it was funny that you mentioned that earlier, and I wanted to touch on that because like I was aggressive. Like I'd swerve in front of you, finger out the window for sure, yelling, all up on your ass, brake checking, anything that you can do to start a fight is what I was doing from my late teens to my early 20s. And
Don't
I am
drive
just
with
so
Donald in
grateful,
California when I go to
man. I'm
visit.
telling you, I am so grateful that nothing stupid happened because people get shot out here on these freeways sometimes.
Same
And
thing here.
no
Same thing here.
tickets, you know, no tickets. But when I calmed down a lot after I joined church, and what I did was because I found myself being a hypocrite. That here I am going to church, but I still suffer from like road rage and shit, right? So yeah, I'm still on my horn constantly, like, yeah, get going, you know. So I wrote the words grace and mercy on the horn. So every time I would think to get on the horn, I'd have to remember Grace and Mercy. I'm about to punch Grace and Mercy, and so it helped me stop getting on the horn, and from there, it kind of just kind of opened my eyes, and now I'm like so much calmer now that I'm in my 40s. You know, like I follow the rules, I use my blinkers, but I'm not like a slow ass driver either. I'm still driving like 5-10 miles above the speed limit. You know, if you're driving 5 or 10 miles below the speed limit, I am gonna go around you, but I'm not
You
gonna brake
to
check
the
you
right-hand
anymore.
lane,
You
alright?
know, like
Right-hand lane.
yeah, if you're in the fast lane, but you're driving slower than all the rest of the lanes, you're not being courteous, you
Oh,
know. And I
you know
won't
what?
flip you off or get on my horn, but I am gonna go around you. You know, I'm not gonna
Tell
make
me
me
something
suffer.
about y'all's highways. Because when I was in Texas, whenever we exit a highway to get off on an exit, we exit to the right. But when I was in, Baltimore and I was driving, I would get frustrated because I'm like, "Man, what the hell are these people doing? I'm trying to get over here to exit. I'm
Yeah,
looking at my map though, and it was like, why do they want me to go left?" Here, they, like,
Mm,
exit differently. It's not exiting to the right to get off the
yeah,
highway, they exit to the left to get off of the highway, which I find really weird, and so I
yeah.
was
Well,
always in the
you guys have very small numbered lanes in Texas. Like I remember driving through Houston, and most of those lanes, unless you're on like the toll road or like on the major freeway, all those highways are like 2 lane roads. You know, so
no,
there's not a
major
single.
major freeways and stuff have 4.
Yeah, like all of our freeways have 4 lanes, right? Like I don't know. I'm
yeah.
not familiar with a lot of Texas. I remember in Houston though they had a lot of highways, and those were like,
So San Antonio has a lot of highways, which is really good because, like, if you've never been here before and you come to visit, say there's an accident off of 37 and 35, cool. Hop right off, swing out through a back street and go into the other part of the highway and stuff, which is really, useful here if you know the streets and the highways really well, and say there's an accident, you can hop off, get off, and get back on in a different area and
Right.
okay,
stuff because there's so many highways. Yeah.
Man, that's crazy. I know like in LA, what is it? It's the right, it's you getting off, or if you're transitioning to a different freeway, sometimes it's the right is getting off on the right. But I know when I was in Tulsa, there was the exit. If you miss one exit, you got to be on that freeway for like 20 minutes before the next exit comes,
oh
and
yeah,
then you want to get off and got to go all the way back.
That
And
happened to
then,
me in Maryland.
yeah,
Same thing, that the very next exit was, like, 12 minutes up. I'm like, "No,
yeah,
no."
it's crazy how those things are built. But that's crazy. That's the way things is. But shoot, are we gonna touch on the let's talk about it, Bobby? Because we got it in a world full of information. You want to talk to us about how we can distinguish the truth from the lies?
I think everything that we talk about in here is obviously opinion based, but on the let's talk about a topic today, I was thinking about, in a world full of information, we get blasted with information left and right. And it's
Hmm.
hard to distinguish because there's so many different types of agendas that are trying to be propagated onto the American people. How do you tell the truth from the lies? And not to throw a wrench into it, now you have artificial intelligence mimicking what looks real but is not. And
Right.
sometimes you're like, "Man, how do I know if this is AI or not?" And so you're sitting here pondering, "Am I being lied to or is this the truth?" How do you deal
yeah,
with that? How
Yeah.
how do we deal with that, especially when, um, I feel like we are being lied to constantly? I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I wouldn't call myself that, but but
Do
it is
you?
quite the coincidence that we have so much happening, and how do you tell what's real or what's not? I was talking to a friend of mine from work, and, in our conspiracy theory group, he tells me that, he gets a lot of his news from TikTok. 'Cause TikTok isn't managed like our media is. You're not sitting there having a co-anchor talking to you, reading off of a script. People are like, "Yo, check this out. I'm over here, and this is what's happening, and they said this on the
Yeah.
news, but this is actually what's happening," and so
Yeah.
people are, like, live streaming exactly what's happening. That's more news than what you get on the damn, whatever news stations you
Yeah.
listen to. And
right,
you have news stations that are biased. You'll go onto some news stations, and you'll never find a single positive thing inside the US, whereas you go to other news stations, and they're like, "Oh, hey, this happened and this happened today." You're like, "Why aren't these people reporting this, and why aren't they reporting this?" And
Hmm.
you gotta kind of pick and choose what it is that you're looking at. Kind of back to a biblical sense. When you're reading through something, I would encourage you to seek discernment in everything.
Yeah.
Everything done in the dark is going to come to the light. And what do you do with that information when you find out that you've been lied to? You're probably like me. I question everything. I seriously do. The little emoji that's got the little monocle on it, and it's like kind of looking up like, that's me. I'm constantly like, yeah, okay. I just don't
Yeah,
believe it.
I
So,
feel you. Um, real talk. I just like if it's truth, you're gonna have to search for it because there's a phrase I've heard. The truth. I mean, what is it? The lie go half around the world before the truth get up and put its pants on.
mhm,
But you know what I'm saying? And the thing about it is people are willing to believe the lie because the truth is not sexy. And unfortunately, it's you know what I'm saying? I you just gotta do the unsexy stuff. You know what I'm saying? Just what it is. You know that you didn't you know that you if you send this money to go ahead, Donald. Go ahead,
a
Donald.
half truth is still a lie,
Yeah.
right? Half truth is still a lie.
Man, I love what you said, Corey. Search it out. Research. It's all about research. Don't just settle for one news source, everybody. Okay. Find multiple sources on both sides of the opinion and then use your own brain and common sense to try and swim through the muck that you're encountering, that's the best way to handle it. Don't just take one news source, and if it kills you to hear what the other side is saying, sacrifice. If you really want to know the truth, you got to hear both sides of the story. But also, aside from just researching, I would suggest finding independent people who are separate from news sources. Find people who are just normal day-to-day people like you and me who are commenting on what's happening in the world, and they're doing the research and they're
Mhm.
backing it up by showing you receipts and the actual evidence of articles that are on both sides, But I was hoping, because you said discernment, right? And it's like a religious word. And so I was hoping, because I kind of know what discernment is a little bit, but can you shed some light on how you can use discernment in figuring out what the truth is? Like, what does discernment even mean? Can you explain that a little bit?
To discern means to tell the difference between. So if I'm being shown a story and somebody's talking very passionately about it, they have a very convincing tone. But a convincing tone doesn't necessarily mean truth. So in that discernment, you're able to tell the difference by research, right? And through heavy prayer, I firmly believe that you can tell the difference between a truth and a lie. But it's going to take some time, and truth isn't sexy. And that lie looks so good,
Ooh.
looks right.
Yep.
Everybody's going towards that lie.
Mm.
But what are you
Gotta
going to
love
do when
truth.
you actually receive that truth?
Yeah.
And you're like, "Man, I've been being lied to this whole time." A lot of times we're like, "Hey, hold on a second, wake up, wake up. Did you know that this isn't true?
Yeah.
Did you know that?" And it's so much easier to walk down the path of lies than it is to walk down the path of truth because we know that that path is very
Wide
narrow.
is the path that leads to destruction, right?
Wide is the path
Narrow is
that
the
leads
gate that leads.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I use a phrase with
Mhm.
my kids. The truth don't change. The
No.
truth don't change. And you
Yep.
can tell, I mean, you can if it's not sexy, if it's not appetizing, it's probably the truth. Because if it's sexy and it's enticing, and when I say that, I mean like, is it something that seems easily attainable or something that you know what I'm saying? Oh, it's too good to be true. Probably is.
Well, truth it seems like there is become separate from facts nowadays, though, doesn't it? Because if you talk to people, everybody has their own truth nowadays. Like, this is my truth, and you have to accept my truth because this is my truth, right?
No, my dear,
So
you've been lied to,
you can
is
you
what
can
it
find the
is.
facts though, and you can discover what the real truth is, right? And then it's just up to us to accept it or not, or What do you guys think?
I don't play that game.
Yeah,
I'll be kind. I'll be kind to you, but I won't play that game.
I believe I understand when people say my truth and this that, but your truth is not a truth, it's your opinion. The truth is truth.
There it is.
Truth. Period.
But your truth is different than
on that, brother.
the truth.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Because I hear that a lot. But my truth is, I'm like, no, that's your opinion. But the truth is, this is this and that is that. That's it. And we can go into a whole different type of conversation that probably, you know what I'm saying, people will make ruffle the feathers. But
let's talk about it, because I'm here to ruffle feathers. I'm here to offend you.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just saying, like, facts,
I know what you're saying.
Facts can be manipulated too, right? You know what I'm saying? When I say that, meaning like people you can say this is fact by somebody entering it Wikipedia. Wikipedia is somebody's putting that information in there. But the truth is, Michael Jackson is dead. Truth is, Tupac is dead. You know what I'm saying? Truth is, these people are dead.
Sad facts.
You know
Next thing you're gonna say is Elvis is dead.
Is who?
Elvis.
He is.
Of course.
So Diddy did it then, right? That's the truth, right? Diddy did it.
It's on video. It's on video.
Diddy did it.
AI wasn't that good back then. Oh man, I can see I can see the AI prompt on this one.
Hey, have you seen the new AI where you're able to follow around Bible characters and stuff?
No.
You haven't? Yeah, they have like first person view, and Moses is like, "Yo, this is crazy." He's walking in between the waves. Like, man, look at all this. Look at all these fish. Look at my people. And he's like, y'all say what's up.
Right. Wow. David's on his cell phone, like, I'm about to take down Goliath right here. And
he goes, should I cut off his head? And it gets like real like dark for a second. You're like, oh my gosh.
How do you feel about that as Christians? That's blasphemy though, isn't it? Like, as a Christian, ain't that blasphemy? Making fun of your religion a little bit?
You're not making fun of it. You
I don't
find
think
it humor.
Making fun of it.
You find humor in it. Making fun of it would be like disdaining it. That's the truth. David cut his head off.
Yeah, and David was just a kid too. He was just a shepherd boy, right? But I think the idea of it is kind of cool. It brings a reality to Bible characters that we read about, because you can't show me a single human being in the Bible that God used who was perfect other than Jesus. That is it.
Yeah.
Everybody was flawed. Every single one of them.
And I believe that was on purpose.
And that was on purpose, because people are like, oh no, God can't use me. He can't use me. He can absolutely use you. He can use your testimony to speak to thousands of people that you would by no other means ever come across. Mm-hmm. He absolutely can use you. He can turn your testimony into a testament to his love and his faithfulness and the grace and mercy that he extends to us every single day that we don't deserve. We don't deserve it. And here he gives it freely. So yes.
He can even use, never mind. Let me not go say
I ain't even sorry.
I was gonna say so, but I was like, nah, you're right. He can use any of us. And being that, I believe we're at the end of our topics, y'all. Look, this was really, really insightful. I'm glad we was able to talk about, the millennial moment, because, I'm gonna be honest with you, Donald, DoorDash, I was addicted to that stuff. Still am a little bit. But
I'm guilty too, man.
But I'm saying, just recapping everything, and real talk, Bobby, I don't think I'll be ready for my kids to drive. Like, I always tell my wife, like, I'm gonna hire a personal driver, but I don't want it to be my kids. I just don't.
I worry about my daughter, man. She's got 2 left feet and no fight or flight response. She responds very slowly to things, and so that doesn't give me any confidence as
just buy extra insurance, man. Just extra insurance, and
It's not
Yeah.
even that, she's, like, trying to look at cars, and I'm like, no, ma'am. Ain't nobody buying you a cute baby blue Jeep. I don't
Are you
think
gonna
so.
get?
You're gonna get a beater car and learn how to respect it and pump gas properly and be able to take
Mm,
care of it properly and making sure I was like, "'Cause if you wanna be blessed with something better, you need to take care of the little that God gives you now because don't expect that blessing if you're not taking care of what He gives you now."
Yeah.
So even if you do get a hand-me-down car, you ought to be super grateful for that because you are not entitled to anything. You are not entitled to anything that I work hard for. You're not entitled to be given a car just freely. You're not entitled to that. Make sure that as a parent, you don't let your kids feel like they're entitled to that either because they are
Yeah.
not. You work for that. Make them work for that.
What's the phrase they tell you in the book, the driver's ed book? Driving is a privilege, not a right.
Not
there,
a right.
Yeah.
there it is.
All right. But so before we sign off, any last words, Bobby? Since you, we're gonna let you go first, and then we're gonna let Dr. Poole go, and then I'm gonna run off this thing last.
Sure thing. So, if you're in the San Antonio area, I own a business called Patriot Restorations. We do water damage and mold mitigation. So, if you happen to have a busted pipe inside your house, you have water leaking everywhere, please reach out to me. We would love to help get you and your family taken care of, making sure you understand what your rights as a homeowner is, and that you have access to your homeowner's insurance and are able to make a claim to be able to get that taken care of quickly before it turns into mold. Um, and I pray nothing but blessings for over y'all. Thank you if you've logged in, if you've liked and subscribed, as I hope that you do. Send us a comment. Let us know that you're listening. We appreciate it. Jesus is coming back soon. So watch what's happening.
Yeah,
Dr. Poole,
yeah.
you find
All
you.
right, same plug, different week. You're gonna find me on Instagram or Facebook, and reach out on Messenger at D_R_pool for service or questions regarding your swimming pools or your spas. And feel free to reach out at any time, and even if it's just a question, I can hopefully get that answered for you.
Awesome, awesome. And it's your main man with the game plan, Corey Giovanni, just letting you know. Change your passwords. 16 billion of them has got
For real.
16 billion of them got leaked to the dark web. I'm pretty sure one or two of yours is on there. Just change them all to be safe. And if you're interested in getting into the podcast area, I have a checklist for free that allows you to get platforms such as the one we're using here and other ones where you can break it down your episode for free where you can spread across your social medias. It will be in the description below. Other than that, we are signing off. Peace.
Hey guys.
Release.
Bye.
All right. Into this bad boy entry.